Don't forget to sanitize up. We can get into an overly long and exhaustive look at the anime I watched in 2020 in alphabetical order. My list, my rules, any show that I watched in 2020 is eligible for the list. And there you have it. Let's talk about it. Let's rate it. If there are any shows I haven't seen, I'll make sure I list them as an honorable mention. Ta-da! So, whoops. We last left off in the M section. So, why not pick up where the logical place, the N section. First off, we have No Guns Life Season 2. This dropped in 2020. Honorable mention for me, though, because I did not watch all of the first season. I watched like 2 episodes of the first season, but I heard it was really good. A lot of people like it. It's got some hardcore fans. It's about a guy with a gun for a face. So I'm pretty down for it. I don't know why I wasn't watching it. I think when it originally came out, I was like playing Persona or something. I don't know. It was a while ago, but if you're into that, go check it out. One thing I was not into though that I would not recommend checking out is the final of the Crunchyroll webtoon adaptations. We talked about God of High School. We haven't talked about Tower of God yet, but the last one to come out was Noblesse, and this one was stupid. Even I mean like having a show that you have to watch an OVA to start off the show was bad enough, but to have the actual show just not be good animation wise or pacing wise or it was just so standard. It was just just bog standard bad. And like the first episode was not. I don't know how they expected anybody to actually enjoy that. Just formulaic and bland and by the numbers and uninteresting. There was nothing to set that show apart from any other power fantasy show about an OP. Well, it was just so stupid. I don't really care about that show. I'm 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 honestly kind of surprised there were only 2 shows I watched this year with N at the beginning of the title. But what are you gonna do, right? One show that I was really enjoying. Well, actually, sorry, I read ahead a little bit to a show that I actually enjoyed. But the next show is actually called Oda Cinnamon Nobunaga. It was about warlord and serial murderer slash pillager Oda Nobunaga being transported to modern day Japan and he turned into a dog. I thought it was gonna be cute, but it was just kind of boring, and I only got didn't even get through episode 1 all the way. So don't watch that. Don't. I mean, unless maybe your kids might like it. It's a funny dog doing funny things or something. So if you have kids, maybe they'll like it. I don't really care for it though. Next up, we have the Oresuki OVA. Now, that I honestly can't remember. I thought Oresuki came out this year. That's the one with Bench Kun. I could have sworn that came out this year, but I guess it came out last year. Or not. I could have sworn that came out in 2020, but I guess it came out in 2019, which is weird for me because the OVA dropped and it was the ending to like I don't know if it was the ending to the series or if it was just like where the anime decided to end off, but it was a better ending than the. I'm glad we got this OVA because it picked up where the anime left off, and the anime left off with a big cliffhanger, and then it wrapped up the series with the movie, the OVA. It was really good parody of the harem genre. The main character, like, it was so great. I love the first episode. Is great. It's got the famous bench scene where he's like, his crush is like, come sit on this bench next to me. I I have a crush on your best friend. And another girl later that he's like, he's vying after. She's like, come sit on this bench next to me. She's like, I have a crush on your best friend. And he's like, oh my god, my luck cannot get any worse. And then the girl, there's a girl that he absolutely despises. He just hates her. She's like, hey, come sit on this bench with me. He's like, oh, she's like, I have a crush on. And he's like, not 3 times in a row. She's like, I have a crush on you. And He's like, oh, why does it have to be the stupid one I don't like? But I liked it. I thought it was fun. He doesn't get the girl at the end, and the characters have a little more depth to them. You might think they're just like cardboard cutouts, but their kind of quirks help build them into nice, reliable foils for each other. I definitely seeing the antics of the school president was really fun, as well as the newspaper girl. Oh, the newspaper girl was diabolical. Oh my goodness, yeah, that was a really fun series. I liked it. Give that show a shot. It's like Oresuki, Are You the Only One Who Loves Me? Definitely good show. Ooh, remember in my video D or whatever where I said that I was gonna be done talking about Digimon? Or did I say I wasn't gonna be done talking about Digimon? Let's turn our Minecraft Apple on and be glad that we're done with Digimon for now. We don't have to talk about it, but Digimon, highly recommend. Anyways, the next one is Our War Game, the OVA, the second OVA directed by Mamoru Hosoda. I watched this in 2020, and just because of when Digimon 2020 was coming back, one of the second episode was called War Game. So eventually I got back into rewatching War Game, and it was a very interesting Our War Game, the original movie. It was a cool, at the time, it was very cool, because a lot of like the problems in that movie that was made like in the 90s, early 2000s, let's say 90s, some of the major problems are internet lag, dealing with hateful comments, and viruses. So it definitely has held up to the test of time, and I think that's a mark of any good movie, really, especially one about digital monsters fighting in cyberspace. So if it can hold up, then it's definitely worth a watch. One show that I really didn't hear anyone talking about, we've moved on to the P's, by the way, so mind your P's and Q's here. But I didn't hear a lot of people talking about Pet. And maybe that's because it was on Amazon Prime, but I really liked it. I quite honestly really enjoyed watching Pet. It was kind of like anime Inception, right? You have these people and they go into each other's dreams with their psychic powers or whatever, and like in your dreamscape you have like a peak and a valley, and in your valley it's like where you safeguard like your most treasured memory and your most hated memory, and like sometimes they were working for the mafia, the Chinese mafia, basically. That was an anime that had people speaking in Chinese, like actual Chinese, when they were Chinese characters involved. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, they would basically cause mental shutdowns in people, and that it was a really good show. I really liked it. I thought some of the characters were pretty compelling, and seeing some of them, just like the emotional manipulation some of these characters have gone through, is just like, and there's like the emotional turmoil the show causes, because it's all about emotions. It's just like beyond like writing. Sometimes it's just great. I loved the music too. The music was really good for me. So it really sucks that I have to. It really sucks that I have to come off of a good show to talk about Plunderer, the stupid show with this stupid dude groping chicks in the middle of the street wearing a stupid mask. Not good, not funny. I did not like, did not laugh. Don't watch it. Do watch the next show on this list, Princess Yasahime. This is kind of an honorable mention because I got a good amount into it before deciding that I wasn't going to be dedicating an entire season to watching this. So I kind of stopped, but it was a sequel to Inuyasha. If you liked Inuyasha, if you ever caught it on TV as a kid, or if you're just curious about what it would feel like to watch an anime that was made in the late 90s, early 2000s, watch this. It feels exactly like a Saturday morning cartoon. Like the pacing, the character interactions, the slight story progression, but not really. But like some things there is like development. It has a really refreshing pace to it. It's like if you have something where things are actually like happening, and it's like nice little one-off fights that contribute to a bigger story. But it's very nice. I like that. And there's some cool lore stuff to it too. Plus, I remember watching the original Inuyasha. Like I said, I caught a couple episodes on TV. So yeah, Princess Yasahime, half demon princess, gets a watch in my book. Watch that show. So that was M through P. Now, I'm pretty sure. So ReZero Season 2, Part 1 came out in 2020. And this show is, the first season, I will admit, I didn't fully enjoy it my first time watching it. I got through a good chunk of it. And, like, the last, 6 episodes, I tapped out. But this changed recently after I watched the Frozen Bond OVA. And so some of the other OVAs I watched, after I watched the Frozen Bond OVA, and with the hype of Season 2, I was like, you know what? They have this director's cut that came out, and the dub is out. I'm just going to hop around a couple episodes. And very, very quickly, I hopped into episode 8 in the dub, and that quickly turned into me just, binging it from there. Because I was so appreciative of some of the things that had been set up before that I thought was just stupid characters doing stupid things. I thought that Subaru I don't know. At times it feels like the characters are really just characters, but they're very much, it's weird to say this, but they're human beings. These are actual people who are acting with their past knowledges and experiences at the forefront. It's very much guiding their decision making. You look at Subaru and you see this stupid dumb otaku weeb with a big chest and no sense of bravas or whatever, and the fact that his behavior actually gets explained, it's not just bad writing, it's literally just him actively trying to put on a front. The fact that it's so wonderful to me that when you can watch something and read the rewatch, right? The rewatch is really important because when you go back and, like I said, when you rewatch a show and it unveils new things to you, then it's I see now that this kid is just acting like a spoiled brat, but there's a reason behind it. And the one thing that ReZero pushes really is changing your shitty behavior. Yeah, he's a shitbag sometimes, but ReZero is a show about bettering yourself, and ReZero is a show about working for the people, for happy lives for the people around you, and that is a very strong core to base your show on. And honestly, I'm here for it. The second season, especially with some of the stuff that has been explained in the second season, it makes it all the more worthwhile to go back and just, if you started it and you didn't like it, rewatch the first season. If I've ever told you to watch it, please just watch it. Watch the first season, watch the OVA, the Frozen Bond second season. The Frozen Bond does so much for Amelia, because a lot of people's biggest complaint with Amelia is that she's boring or whatever. But people just say she's useless. I don't even know what people complain about. I didn't think Amelia was that bad my first watch through. Of course, I loved Rem, and especially now, having seen what I saw, it's almost impossible for me to go back and to rewatch ReZero and think that Amelia's a bad character, because I know what she's thinking. I know what's going through her head. It's just it's a brand new show for me at this point. It's so wonderful. I love the world. I really want to start getting into some of the external media, the light novels and the spin-off novels. But yeah, such a good show. Do you want to speed through the S's? I think we kind of have to speed through the S's. All right. Somali the Forest Spirit. It was cutesy. I'm assuming it got dark at some point and was really cool, but I didn't really watch it, so honorable mention. Scientists fell in love, so we tried to prove it. Watched a couple episodes of that. It was cute. They fell in love, and I tried to prove it, and it was really cute. I liked it. It was quirky. Didn't finish it, but I would recommend if you need something slow to watch, or something quick and bubbly to watch. Sorcerer, Stabber, Orphan. I watched 2 episodes of this before I said, nah fam, I'm good. This is weird. Apparently the manga is really good, but I could be convinced otherwise. I'm going to skip one just to go to Sword Art Online Alicization Season 2. Part 2 of Season 2 of the final season of Sword Art Online, whatever the fudge that is. It was, I didn't watch the second season. I did watch the first season a little bit when that came out. And I can only give this an honorable mention if you like Sword Art Online. I know people who really stand this show super hard. I don't get it personally, but there are people who like it. So if you like it, I just want you to know that it's out there. All right, let's finish off this the S's with a fantastic show. Where's my Blu-ray? Always want to give myself the chance to pimp out my Blu-rays, baby. Space Dandy. I recently bought this Blu-ray in 2020, and I have not regretted it since. One of my favorite shows of all time, favorite experiences of all time. All right, you watch this, you watch Rick and Morty. It's like you can see the influence. It's like Rick and Morty was inspired by this shit, right? This is some top-notch science fiction, absurdist comedy. Let me tell you, there's an episode where he gets like a fourth dimensional girlfriend. There's an episode where he pulls on a cosmic string and unravels different versions of himself. One episode is like a High School Musical parody. Another episode is a dance contest. It's crazy. It's good fun. Really, really, really would recommend this show. Get it physically so you can own it and not have to deal with whatever barriers may be to stop you from watching it. But with that Space Dandy out of the way, I want to thank you all for joining me today. No calls to action on this one. Just have a good day. Have a good night. Wherever you are, enjoy yourselves. Peace, love. We out.